Metronomy.
And you're watching
Records
in
My
Life.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
How are you all?
I'm well.
Well,
Also well.
I'm well.
Also well, yes.
The tour seems to be going well because you're all smiling and
I think we're
which is good.
smiling. Yeah, we're smiling for. It's all going well. We're gonna have some dinner soon. I think we all feel positive.
We're excited. We're going to Nando's. For people
Fantastic.
who are from the UK, it's exciting going to Nando's in another country.
Went to one in
It's
Australia.
fantastic. Maybe.
Yes. This is some really good publicity. There.
No, that's a nice shout out. Maybe we can.
Nando's.
There are other
Nando's.
chicken shops
Trying
available.
to get my Nando's black card.
Yeah. Or how do we monetize the Nando's? Can we? We'll partner with you if we
Or
can
you can just-
monetize
if
this
you-
Nando's
maybe
thing.
like in the edit you can bleep out every time we say Nando's.
Yeah.
So tell us about the new record, where it was recorded, the name.
Yeah, the new record's called Metronomy Forever. It was recorded in a few places, Paris and England, where I live now in the countryside in Kent, southeast England. And it's a kind of long, like 17-track record with a vague theme of like eternity.
That's a great answer. Did you have any? I know you produce and you
Yeah.
remix a lot of stuff. Did you have any outside?
There's a few people involved with sort of bits of production and little bits of writing, but in the end, it ended up being again like a sort of classic Metronomy single-minded record.
What's the album that inspired you? Like, I know you used to toy around with your father's computer. From what
Yeah.
I've read, if this is accurate, what are some of the albums that inspired you to start playing music?
Well, when you start, Oscar.
goodness. Well, I think to begin with, you kind of listen to your parents' records. So the Beatles has to be up there.
Which album?
The red one, Greatest Hits.
The red one. That's fantastic. I love that answer.
The Red album.
There's a red one.
There's a red one too.
Number one. 62 to 66.
yeah. I know. Yeah, it's good.
Oh,
It's a
I
good
thought it was
record.
a funny joke.
That's a great answer. I did think it was a joke, but I remember it being a red. Is it
Yeah,
called number
no.
one? Is that what it is, or?
That's it.
That's a later. So, yeah,
That's a later
his-
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, like when I was getting into bands, I guess the Beatles were the thing, but probably like I guess what coincided with me starting actually like playing in bands was like things like Weezer and Soundgarden and like Green Day, that kind of. So I guess I remember Dookie by Green Day I listened to like loads, and Superunknown by Soundgarden.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. What's the best song on the new album, new Metronomy album?
I like a lot of the interludes. I can't remember the names though, and I like The Light. I like that one. Yes.
There's been a lot of talk these days about traveling to space, like in the next couple of years. You know, with Elon Musk, he's putting in, the guy's probably able to do it because he's like a billionaire. Which record, if you were going up there and there was no return, which record do you take?
Oh, wow.
Which Metronomy record?
Well, there you go. That's Joseph will answer that one in a second.
Well, I guess for me, I would take, there's a gospel kind of composer called Kirk Franklin, and he did this album in the late 90s where he collaborated with a kind of youth choir in Atlanta, I think, called God's Property. And yeah, that album, I've listened to that album probably more than any other album, kind of hundreds of times at this point. So yeah, I would take that one.
Sounds boring.
You got one?
Gosh, wow, yeah. I'm to listen to in space. I haven't yet got. I haven't yet got bored of Pet Sounds, so I'm just gonna have to be be honest and say I probably could listen to that for a good deal of time.
Snorefest. I'd take Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morrisette.
What's a good romantic record?
I feel like it's contextual. Like when I was younger, I had this idea that like if you were trying to woo someone, you would like play them music that you thought was amazing. And then I realized that like they don't care. It's like you build up kind of shared experiences with music, and it's like then music becomes special in a way. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna put on Sade and then like she's gonna feel really sexy. I don't know.
It doesn't work.
Hang on.
That's been my experience.
Yeah, I like that. You answered right away and very quickly. I like that. I like the candor there.
To me, it was always like, it should always be, to me, it's always like R&B music, but I never had a girlfriend that liked it. So, but I always had this idea of this record, Southern Hummingbird by Tweet, being like the super romantic record. But I just like put it on, and they would ask me to turn it off. So there you go. D'Angelo.
That's
very good.
sexy.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you're putting something on,
Well, that's the thing,
if you're
yeah,
putting
it's
something on to signify what you would like to happen,
Sebastien Tellier, Sexuality. Come on.
and
Immediately.
You're at home to listen to your favorite record or something that might, or if you're writing, what would help you? Either weed, wine, or water. Some people are puritans and they can just write.
in my experience, making music under the influence of weed is just very unproductive. And like literally, I mean, I don't really do it anymore. But I remember when I was younger doing it and kind of sitting in front of a computer and just having moments where I was just like, whoa, what am I doing? Like, what was I doing? I swear I had a good idea. And I've completely forgotten it. And then, like having like it just being very kind of it not really being conducive to making good music. So I would go for wine. Wine is a much better kind of thing to get you in that mood.
I read that people like sort of Aphex Twin or the kind of EDM, IDM, intelligent, not EDM, IDM. Producers, musicians in the early 90s would sort of get quite stoned and then sort of just spend hours programming their samplers, which would require this kind of monotonous, like obsessive thing. But I've definitely never been able to do that, and it just makes me I can't function.
Water. Like I've never really found, like even when I've had a couple of drinks, like when we do shows, I can't drink before we play because it just like it really affects my ability to make music. Maybe I'm a lightweight, but like certainly for like doing creative stuff, I find I can't. Coffee maybe is as far as I can go.
That's a pretty serious.
I think it's my Protestant upbringing, maybe.
What would you consider the record of your generation, each of you, the most
Good
impactful?
question. I'm gonna say that I've heard like, and maybe it's the kind of music that I like, but I've heard the effect of the Love Below by Outkast being like having had a huge effect on like lots of different genres. That's a kind of an observation now.
I mean,
I was going to say, in a similar way, I think In Search Of by N.E.R.D. was kind of one of those albums that I remember all us kids that were into rock took an interest in production.
I would actually, I might say that has had a. I'm going to take Oscars. No, I'm going to say that the In Search Of Oscar's suggestion is more of a record of our generation than The Love Below. So thank you, Oscar.
What do you think about? Do you think 2001? Speaking of the Chronic, is that something we should write? I feel like I heard that a lot in listening back.
Or like Discovery by Daft Punk. So, like,
I didn't listen to
massive
any of
one.
these records, you guys.
What were you listening to, Anna?
You're not speaking for me.
Alright.
I guess for me it was like Californication or like Blood Sugar Sex Magic, like Red Hot Chili Peppers stuff, or like I don't know.
Blood Sugar Sex Magic, I reckon, is a good shout.
Yeah.
Or Nevermind. I mean, it's kind of obvious.
That's
but
not how it's origin.
Just
well, it came out. Okay. I'm a bit older than you. So
Slightly.
never mind.
Years.
No, like I remember very, very vividly when Nevermind came out.
I would say that Unplugged is the record.
Like
Nirvana Unplugged.
kids at my school who had been listening to Michael Jackson suddenly thought that like listening to guitar music was cool. And it's like Nirvana were all over MTV, and it's like suddenly they're like everyone's listening to kind of grunge bands, you know.
We'd like to ask all guests for some words of wisdom or advice for your audience. A message of love, of hope.
Be excellent to each other. Golden rule.
Guys, thank you so much for being on the show. Best
Thank
of
you.
luck with everything.
Hi, I'm Mark Henning, the other half of Records in My Life. Love it that you made it to the end of the video. Please leave us a comment, leave us a thumbs up, and subscribe. If you really dug the show, we'd love it if you'd consider supporting us over at patreon.com/RIMLTV. Cheers and see you next week.